What's up, everybody? Coach Johnson here. Appreciate you submitting all these great questions and getting a chance for me to go live with you, talk a little bit about myself and about our program. And we'll start off. So the first question was, what are my personal goals for year one? And I would say for year one, we really want to establish who we are and what we want to be as a program. And I think that's just having that everyday mentality and what kind of product do we want to have on the court that you guys see during games. And that's a toughness, that's a competitive spirit, that's kind of a grit mentality that we're going to give max effort, for all 40 minutes. So those are really the goals. It's just, can we do that and establish that mentality every single day? And I think if you do that, everything else will take care of itself, and you'll win games. The success will come, the player development will come, guys will get better individually, and we'll get better as a team. So, good question. Second question, what do you think are the most fundamental keys to becoming a regular tourney participant while also keeping your core principles and style? Tough question, but good. I would say, the fundamental keys are as simple as it sounds, being consistent in those keys, whatever you have. I think there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, right? And, for us, there's going to be a certain way. It's going to be a certain key. For other teams, it could be other, but I think it's the consistency that you have to that standard, and to hold yourself to that standard every single day is what it all comes to be about. I think if you can establish that, and it's like basically saying, here's what Gopher basketball stands for, here's what we're about, and make that kind of your mission, I think that's everything. And for us, it's the development piece. We want to be able to be a developmental school where our guys are routinely getting better, not only every year, but progressively as the year goes on, that their games, are starting to develop on both ends of the floor. And the toughness piece, we got to be the toughest, nastiest team. And I think that's a skill. I think that's something you work on every day in practice. I think it's something you try to recruit to. And I think it's something that you try to mold and develop and become, part of your DNA. And team is the other piece. We got to be the most team of teams, if that makes sense. We got to be the team that, really fights for the guy next to him, that makes the extra pass, that does all the little things to help impact winning. That might necessarily be an individual thing, but is a team thing. Be the team that has the most energy on the bench, the most connected team on the floor. All those things are important to me, and I think all those things help you kind of keep the bar where it needs to be really consistent to win at a high level. Next question, do you have a dog, and what's their name? I do have a dog. I've got a 4-year-old Rottweiler that actually got here in Minnesota from a big-time breeder, and his name is Bruce, and Bruce is the man. So I appreciate that question. Next question, who is the most talented player you ever coached or worked with? That's tough. I don't want to leave anybody out. I'll say there's a couple. Obviously Amir Coffey, very talented player that I had a chance to recruit and work with. Teran Petaway, I don't know if you guys remember him, but he played at Nebraska. Big-time competitor. I think he led the Big Ten in scoring maybe his junior year, but was really, really good. He's up there. Najee Marshall at Xavier, who's now with the Pelicans, is definitely in the mix there. Very, very talented. Obviously, if you're able to make the NBA, you've got a lot of pieces and a lot of tools. So I guess those three would probably jump off the top of the page. And I hope I'm not forgetting somebody on that. Next question. What's been the biggest surprise in becoming head coach? I would say it's not really a surprise because I knew it comes with the job, but I would say obviously just with every decision, the buck stops at me. And so that could be from the biggest decisions that you make as far as recruiting or players to small decision as far as like what stationery do you want to have, for example. But having to answer, those questions that go within the program is probably it's every day. So I think that's the thing. It's just every day when you walk in that office, you're going to be hit with a ton of decisions that you got to make, and it's just being able to handle each and every one of those decisions and doing it the right way in a thought-provoking manner, so you can continue to build and elevate your program. Next question: what's your favorite place for Juicy Lucy's in the city? It's a good question. You know what? I actually haven't had in a long time, so I will take your feedback on this one. If anybody knows a good place to get a Juicy Lucy or the best one, give us a shout. Let us know. You guys might know more than me. Next question: what has been your favorite part in returning to Minnesota? Another tough one because there's been a lot. I would say just having the privilege of every day, walking in my office and seeing my name on the nameplate as the head coach of this university, because I know everything that kind of entails and everything that's about is always cool and special to me and will never get old. So probably my favorite part is just driving into work every day and seeing the building and being able to walk into my office knowing that I'm the head coach here is something that will forever be cool, and something that I work hard every day to serve this university right and serve the community right, and administration and our players. How do you think each assistant coach will help elevate the youth program? I think each one of these guys in their own way brings something very, very special to our program that will help elevate it. I was very fortunate during the hiring process to get all the top guys that I wanted, that I talked to, that I knew were stars in this business. And each does bring a different value. Coach Thorson has been around the block, and especially here. He's seen this program at some of its finer moments, and he's recruited some quality players that have gone on not only at Minnesota but beyond to play in the NBA and to get drafted. He knows the lay of the land. He understands recruiting in this state. He understands relationships in this state. He's a great connector with what we want to do, especially in state. So I say his in-state presence is huge and a big key. Coach Kemp, he's a competitor, and I think he's a guy that, like myself, has got a big chip on his shoulder and is really motivated to blow this thing up. And he's done a great job. And I think him understanding the lay of the land in the Big Ten, as far as recruiting, just kind of in the Midwest and what works, his connections in the Midwest with what works, and the players that I know, that I'm comfortable coaching and teaching and developing. He's got a really good handle on that. So I think his recruiting base. Now, obviously, he goes beyond the Midwest, but especially in the Midwest area and region is going to be really key in his relationship with the guys. Everybody I talked to about Coach Kemp, I always came back to he's relationship based, and he does a great job forming and maintaining relationships. And then Coach Jenkins, I think coming from a different area, I wanted a guy that kind of was outside of the Midwest that could bring a different flavor, not only in recruiting and relationships, but also just in style and brand of basketball. And, Richmond, he's had a huge imprint on that program. They've had a tremendous amount of success. Coach Mooney's a great coach. Obviously, being an associate coach there, he had a lot of responsibilities as far as game prep, development, just day-to-day coaching. So I think kind of his range of being different was something that I really, really appreciate and could be key, because he's kind of different thoughts, different ideas, and then again, different relationship and ties, I think will really be unique and special to our program. All right, next question. What kind of offensive style are you planning to use? I think everybody says that they want to play fast, which is true. But in reality, in the Big Ten, I think with scouting and just the way the league is, pace of play is important, but I think it's more important once you get the ball across and you're in half court. Say you eliminate transition, can you play fast within the half court, meaning ball movement, quick actions, the ball not stopping, guys moving their bodies. That's going to be what we look to play. I think some of it, we're still trying to figure out our roster. So, some of how you play will be dictated on the players that you have and trying to mold and shape to what their strengths are. So it's still kind of a wait and see, but I have a really good idea of kind of the base of what I want to do. It's going to be some things that I've seen in the Big East. It's going to be some things that we ran at Xavier. It's going to be some things that I've seen and picked up in the past. I'm a basketball junkie, so you're always trying to take bits and pieces from different coaches. So we'll have a little bit of an NBA flavor, steal some stuff from some programs and organizations there that I really respect that do a good job. So that's the fun part, is kind of figuring out as we build the roster, kind of what our style is based off of our players. So that'll be fun this summer. Favorite player of all time. You know what? I am not going to touch this one because they're all my favorite. Not going to do that. Next question. How does the mental game play into your coaching style? I think mental game is huge. I think the mental component to anything you do in life is big. I think the more you can get mental reps, the more you can visualize things positively, or the more you can put yourself in certain situations, I think it better prepares you to have success. So, I think the mental game is huge. I think it's our job as coaches to always develop that. I think it's our job as coaches to create an atmosphere where these guys feel an unbelievable amount of positive confidence. You almost want them to have that irrational confidence, right? You want them to have that belief that they're going to succeed no matter what they do, that we're going to win each game no matter how it starts, good or bad. So I think the mental piece is definitely key. And there's different ways you can approach that and attack it as a coach and as a staff. But I think as much as we can, really developing that confidence in guys and having them, go deeper in their thought and deeper in their visualization and forcing them to kind of think the game before it actually happens, to have that success and to build that confidence, I think is big. So we'll definitely be a big mental team in that aspect. All right. What are the biggest things you look for when recruiting players? Obviously you got to be talented enough. So you take that out of the way. That's kind of a given. The next thing would just be, guys that fit kind of our core values and fit what we're about as a program. Guys that I can trust, guys that are competitive, and guys that have integrity. I think those are obviously very, very important to me. I think it goes back to, you want to win and be able to sustain it. And I think in order to do that, you got to have people you can trust. You got to have people that are inherently competitive and want to get better every day and push themselves to get better every day and compete at everything they do. And then people that have a high level of integrity, that are about the right things, that have that character DNA is really important. I think at this level, there's a lot of teams that are going to recruit really well. So the player and the talent-wise, obviously you have pros, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty even. And then it's like, what are those guys doing with the talent they have? Are they driven to get that talent better? And then I think just the little things turn into big things when you want to win championships and you want to be consistent. And so character piece is definitely high up there. All right, next question. What do you want Gopher men's basketball to be known for as a program? And I've kind of already touched on it, but I think when fans come to the game, I wanted them to see development, right? That's really big to me. I want them to see over time that, players get better. And it's not always going to be like huge leaps all the time with every guy, but to progressively see them get better from start to finish, whether that's in their career or maybe as the years going on, to see them take steps, to see our team develop. Hopefully we're not the same team in early November that we are in March and April. We want to develop as a team. As the year goes on and the days go by, we want to get better and better and better and grow with the season. And then, the toughness piece. I think when fans come into Williams Arena, I wanted them to see a mentally and physically tough team, a team that doesn't back down from anybody, a team that fights for and scraps for every loose ball, every 50-50 ball, a team that's mentally tough to make winning plays on offense and defense, and a team that's just willing to scratch and claw. And that, every time, whether we're on the road or at home, it's going to be game on. That's really important to me. So I would say that. And then again, the last part is just being a team. I think we want to be a program where you can identify with us as fans, where the community can identify, recruits can identify, alumni can identify with a true team, a true family. That's really up there. We got to get this program to a point where that's second nature. That's just at the base level. At the end of the day, we are a family always, and we are a team always in everything that we do. Next question. Can you beat Daniel Arturo one-on-one? I hope I couldn't. If I could, the Clippers are in trouble. So I'm going to go off on a limb and say probably not right now. I'm 40. Those days are probably gone. But Daniel, I'm telling you, if this is not a no-brainer, then you're in trouble and the Clippers are in trouble. How do you plan on building team chemistry? The first piece is, I think, it starts with the players that we recruited. They're all recruited very specifically and strategically because at heart they are team guys. So I think that's the first obstacle, is you've got to recruit that. You've got to recruit guys that kind of embody that already, and then you just build on that. So we're going to spend a ton of time with each other this summer, obviously on the court, but we'll do some creative things off the court, and then we'll continue that in the fall, because we will have a ton of new guys with the new transfer rule, just the way our team is built. So that's going to be really important, is to try to get all these guys on one page and do it quickly, and get them to play for that guy next to them, and get them to really be 2 feet in with team first. I think obviously is important. So there'll be a lot of cool things that we'll do outside of the box, outside of the practice floor to kind of build that chemistry. So don't you worry about that. I got a lot of tricks up my sleeve in that area. Go-to hype song. It's terrible of me, so I love music. I'm all over the place, but I never can remember names. So that's a tough question, because I have a lot, and I can tell you like the rhythm and some of the lyrics too, but I don't know their names. I know this, like Nipsey Hussle is one of my favorite, probably beat my, R.I.P. Probably my favorite artist, so probably would be a Nip song, if I would have to say right now. It's probably kind of standard for me. Grinding on My Life, maybe. Probably be the go-to. All right, last question. How sad were you that Coach Whalen's Maroon team came out on top Saturday? Here's what I will say. I don't know who the ref was, but there were some very questionable calls late in the game. I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm not going to point any fingers. We lost fair and square, but I thought we had a couple opportunities where, if you look back on it, could have gone our way, which would have helped. But it was fun to be out there. She deserved it. Maroon team deserved it. They played better. They made winning plays at the end of the day. But I thought it was a fun, entertaining event, and I got a chance to be part of it from a different standpoint, which is cool. Love football. Love what Coach Fleck is doing. Hoping for a big time year. It was good to see fans out there. I thought we had a great turnout, and I know our student athletes really appreciated it, because they made that known. So it was a cool environment, and hopefully we'll be able to maybe redeem myself at some point down the line. So that's all the questions that I have. Again, appreciate you guys taking the time to sign on and fire those at me, and hopefully we can do this again sometime soon.